Mark Twain once said, "The secret to getting ahead is getting started." Now, it's easy to feel behind in today's day and age. Sometimes I wish there was two of me. And there's so many mediums to communicate nowadays. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Instagram, YouTube, should I do tutorials, ads? Maybe I should just get a real job. So where do you turn in today's fast-paced social media era? Well, to tell you where I'm going, I have to tell you where I've been. And to show you where I've been, I'll have to show you how I got there. So I think the question we need answered is, who am I? So I guess I consider myself kind of like a creative entrepreneur. For the most part, I am an audio engineer here at my studio in Connecticut, but I wear many hats. I've always considered myself a jack of all trades. I've also always considered myself undiagnosed with ADD or ADHD. But since I was young, I always wanted to make a living out of creating things and helping other people create what they wanted to make. Or, as my mother would put it, make a living out of living. So that ideology first really started here at my grandparents' house. I used to come here a lot after school, and they always had a laptop that I can use that they barely knew how to use, but I did. In the early 2000s, the internet was still in its adolescence. MySpace, YouTube, Pirate Bay, all frequent destinations of mine. And I had just about anything you could think of. FL Studio, Cinema 4D, Adobe products, Sony Vegas, Pivot, I had them all. And at a very young age, I was inspired by these legends that kind of paved the way for us. PewDiePie, FaZe Clan, Breachers, even Casey. It was thanks to these legends that I was inspired to start making content on my own. But in high school, I wanted to do what most high schoolers wanted to do, and that was to fit in. Meaning I was a bit nervous to show my new classmates my Call of Duty commentary.
Hope you guys subscribe, and thank you very much.
I don't regret it, but it did let me know that I was on the right path. And it gave me the confidence that in the future, I should always go with my gut. In 2013 or so, a family friend of mine gave me some music equipment he had. I had continued to make beats, and I thought I had a basic understanding of how to do it. It was a hardware mixing console, a mic, and honestly, I could never get it to work. But I was infatuated with getting it to work. Eventually, I bought a basic audio interface, and Pandora's box had been opened. My friends and I got the basics of what we needed, but we laid that first track down and it sounded nothing like what you heard on the radio. It's turned into somewhat of an obsession. I spent the next 5+ years just every day trying to get closer and closer to sounding like I knew what I was doing. So now I had a plan. I had a goal, but I had no money. But I did have time. Unfortunately, my time was very cheap. So at this point, I was working at my first job, which was a pizza joint. You know, when you first start working, it's nice to get some money in your pocket. You could put some gas in the car, you can get some clothes for school, which is why I spent my whole first check on a pair of Jordans. So I started picking up some sideline income at a flooring business that one of my coworkers had owned. You can imagine working on your hands and knees all day isn't the most luxurious work by any means, but now I had more to work with. Lastly, I worked at the Wyndham Hotel as a houseman, breaking down and setting up banquets. So I was working hard, but I really wasn't on my way to an early retirement by any means. But this was all part of the origin story, and it made a huge impact the way I looked at work and gave me a better understanding of what I wanted to do next. And it's around this time that my financial fire was lit and my real interest in business began. No exaggeration, I used to watch Bloomberg and just look up different business terminology and just try to educate myself however I could. I did a little network marketing around this time, and one thing they always said was, ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. I didn't really know where to begin, but I just knew I had to. So it was right around this time when I really started getting into personal development. And I was really inspired by the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, to be specific. I have so many memories of just sitting right here on this bike and reading the book and just getting a whole new sense of understanding with financial literacy and just how I wanted to do things. I had this new unquenchable thirst for knowledge. I was addicted to becoming the best version of myself. So when I was setting up events, I was listening to audiobooks. When I was laying floors, I was constantly annoying the owner, trying to ask him different type of questions, how the business ran, what the day-to-day looked like. And I was finally done investing in Jordans, and at this point I was taking half of all the money I made and I was investing it into stocks. And truthfully, I really had no idea what I was doing. However, within a few months or so, I actually had a few grand saved up. And it's nothing crazy. However, sometimes seeing is believing, and seeing the plan in action happen right before my eyes, it gave me a sense of control that I never really had before, and really gave me the confidence to want to keep going and continue with the plan. I was reading, working out, studying every single day. I started making video journals to track my progress and just document my growth throughout the years. And my circle continued to get smaller, but my fire continued to burn brighter. Then, at the end of 2020, my friends and I finally had our own place to call home. The studio. It's something we always wanted to do, and it was just a fusion of all the different interests I had with just everything creative, visuals, audio, and being able to have a space to make money from it. And it really became more than just a business. It was a family. We had so many different experiences that I'm super grateful for. And we even got into rooms that we never thought we would because of this place. We traveled, met different people, made connections, Atlanta, New York, LA, just to name a few. We even worked with a few Grammy nominated and a few Grammy winning producers. And beyond all that, to be able to do everything with my friends and the people that you started with is just an amazing feeling. It's one of the reasons why I continue to do it to this day, and I still enjoy coming to work every single day. And it's a blessing to continue to work with my friends and be able to make money doing what I love. Of course, there's a lot more work to be done, and this is only the beginning. But now you know a little bit more about me. So I hope you enjoyed the time we spent together, and I hope you'll join me for the rest of the ride. If you enjoyed this, consider giving a like or subscribe. I know it's cliche, but it does go a long way, and it just lets me know that I'm not completely doing everything wrong. Well, until next time, I hope. Peace.